Hey, 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 it's me, Alma Phillip here, the Master Midwife for Coaches. Super excited because today in this video, we're going to talk about three must-haves or three things that I believe coaches must have if they want to get to that consistent 5-figure month level. Okay, so this came up for me this morning after I was listening to my podcast. I was just kind of reflecting on how much things has changed for me in the last 2 years in my business, like literally turn around, right? And so I was just thinking, like, what made this change happen? Like, right? Like, if I had to say this one thing is what helped me, what would it be? And so I came up with these three things, okay? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. If you're a coach or consultant, and you have other coaches on your friends list, make sure that you share this live out. Hello. I'm not going to be doing too much talking here because I really want to get through the content pretty quickly. But if you're new to me, nice to have you. Okay. All right. So let's jump in. Number one, the first thing that I believe is really important for you to master is going to be your marketing, which is something that I talk about all the time. As you know, I am known as the Master Midwife for Coaches, and I help people market their message. So it's all about marketing for me, right? And I believe that marketing is really important. I also believe it's where most people struggle. It's not the only important part of business, but it is definitely important when it comes to your money, right? Because if you don't know how to market yourself, people will not know that you're there. If you don't know how to market yourself, you're not going to be able to grow, right? So you might be stuck in that feast and famine stage. You may be stuck, or maybe you hit a plateau. And it's like, I can't even get anywhere. I need marketing systems. I need marketing strategies. Whatever I'm doing here is not enough. I know that I found myself there many times in my business where I had to go back to the drawing board and, tweak my marketing plans and try new strategies until I found what really worked for me. As well as, social media changing, business changing, people changing, right? Like the way they consume information has changed. I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years. So I have been able to stand back and watch the change. Like we went from not having all these social media platforms to having these platforms. We went from, recording our little 5-minute videos on YouTube to now having live streams. So, even all that, those changes makes it really important for you to focus on your marketing and make sure that you have a good marketing system. Now, here's the thing. Marketing is what brings your traffic, okay? Earlier, I did an interview with my coach, and he was talking about, the fact we were talking about challenges, really. So if you're new to me, I focus on 2 ways, right, for my clients to get organic traffic. And that is through presentations, whether offline and online, as well as challenges. And so today I had an interview where I spoke heavily about challenges. And one of the questions he asked me was, most people, they'll create challenges, but then they'll forget about the traffic. So what do we do about that? And so that's another thing that brought this whole live up for me is really, your marketing. Your marketing is what brings the traffic, right? So I think a lot of people, spend time creating logos, creating offers, and while all of that is great, if you don't know how to get traffic and get people to see it, then that's the problem. And your marketing helps you get traffic, right? So just like here, this is a form of marketing, right? So this is video marketing, what I'm doing here. And by me here giving valuable content, and then giving a call to action is a way for me to, build my audience, build awareness, help you get to know me, give you a little bit of something that you can use on your, to help in your business. And now I'm growing a relationship here, right? And that's what this whole thing is about. So number one is really mastering your marketing so you can increase your traffic. More traffic, more sales, okay? Now, number 2 for me is making sure that you master your numbers, okay? So this one is real big, right? Because I look at business, it's supposed to be ever growing, right? So every month you're supposed to be increasing the number of leads, increasing the number of calls, increasing the number of sales, increasing the number of group members, whatever it is that you're doing, you should be increasing. That's the word, being able to grow, especially if you're someone that's looking to grow a real business. Now, if you're here and you just want to coach so you can make a quick buck, then fine. But if you're looking to really grow a business that's going to impact people's lives for years to come, that can be, you know, handed down to your children. I know for me, that's one of the things I think about. Like, even though the kids don't have time for me now, I want to know I'm leaving something for them. I want to know that, you know, when Asia finishes college, let's say, which I know this wouldn't happen to her, but, you know, God forbid something happens and she left college and she couldn't get a job right away, she has a company she can come and work. You know, and if that's the type of business that you're building, then knowing your numbers is really important. Understanding what marketing activities are working, right? You know, knowing where your sales are coming from, knowing which different pieces of content went out that gave you enough traction to bring the sales in, knowing the messaging that you're using to get those sales, right? And all of that is important. Your conversion rates, right? So if I put out a post, how many likes is it getting? How many comments? How many shares? And from those likes, comments, and shares, how many of those people became leads? And from those leads, how many people booked appointments? From those appointments, how many people am I closing? Same thing when it comes to my digital products, right? If I put this out in a group, you know, I want to know, did 10 sales come from this product? Which one of these, you know, where are these sales coming from? Because see, when you know your numbers, that's what helps you grow, right? So when you know your numbers, you now know where you have to fix, where you have to tweak, what you have to pay attention to, right? What you need to get rid of that's just there for no reason and wasting time, right? So your numbers is really important. So number one was marketing, number two was numbers, and number three is master your connections, okay? Now, there are more things that you do need to master, but I think that, you know, like I said, I just really sat and thought about my last 2 years and, you know, all the things, all the blessings, all the changes, and it has to, you know, these are the three main culprits. These are the three main reasons why I've been able to see so much growth. And so connections is really important. When I think about all the, you know, my first 5-figure month, it came from me being invited on someone else's platform. You know, yesterday I wrote a post where I told you guys that last year I was able to get my first $25,000 speaking gig. And that came from a connection, through a connection and a connection. And so, you know, people who you know is really important. Your relationship that you're building in business is really important. And that's like, when I'm going to be doing a live stream really soon, where we are going to be talking about my 4-step system that I'm going to be teaching you guys at Market Your Message Live, right? And I'll tell you guys about that in a minute in case you don't know about it. And so I'm going to be teaching you about the system. But the first step in the system is really being able to borrow other people's audiences, right? Being able to connect with and create true, genuine relationships with people, and borrowing their audience, right? So let me give you an example of what that would look like. Let's say you have a product and you've been struggling to get it out there. You need about 4 more clients in your arsenal. You know me, someone who has, you know, a group of over 2,000 members, social media of over 100,000 people, you know, a list over 6,000 people. You're like, wait a minute, I want to come in there and do a joint collaboration with you, or a webinar or something. You could be new. And I can send your freebie out or your webinar out to my audience, and just like that, you can find yourself with hundreds of leads, people paying attention, sales coming in, and that is the beauty of connecting with other people. The key here, though, is making sure that it's very genuine. Because what I found over the years is sometimes, you know, you could tell the people who are just connecting because they just want something. And I don't, you know, that's not what you want to do, right? So you really want to connect with people who you can see that your business aligns, your values align, you can see yourself growing with them. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's really how it works, okay? So mastering your marketing, mastering your numbers, and mastering your connections is very, very important. Now, before I leave you guys, I want to personally, right, invite you to my upcoming event, August 17th and 18th here in Philadelphia. I'm hosting a 2-day event specifically for coaches and consultants, where we'll be focused on exactly what we talked about today. So we'll be focused on your marketing. First, we'll be focused on your messaging, right? Because those of you who need help with your messaging, if you don't have a message that sets you apart, you're going to continue to get drowned out in your saturated industry. So it's really important to know, how can I stand out, right? And that's where your unique message comes in. Your story, that's where those stuff comes in, and we're going to talk about that in our first session. We're also going to be focused on marketing, and then we're also going to be focused on your money. So creating that high ticket offer so that way you can get more sales in your business, right? So August 17th and 18th, right here in Philly, marketyourmessagelive.com. We have about, I want to say 16 spots left, and I might be a little off with that number because I saw about 4 people come in this morning. So grab your seats if you know that this is something that you need help with, okay? All right, so I want to thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, comments, or anything, you can leave it below. Don't forget to share, and share. And I'll see you guys in my next video, okay? All right.